What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's me, Merch, and this is my Franken trailer that that I just made. And if you're just tuning into the channel, welcome. This is my channel where I am going to attempt to go around the world in a trailer. Except it's really just going to be the U.S. Yeah, we're just doing a U.S. road trip, okay? That's it. I wanted to go to South America, but like all things, let's keep it realistic, okay? Let's start with the US. We'll go around the US first, and then we'll see if that's even possible. I don't even know if it's going to work out or not. This thing might break down 10 miles from my house, and I might just be like a, okay, my bad type of deal. But I hope it doesn't. I really hope it doesn't, because I plan on going to every single state this summer. I don't know about you guys, but I just am so cooped up. I need to go travel, and it's been a minute. I want to go check out some new sites. I want to see some new places that I've never been. There's a handful of states that I haven't gone to, and there's a handful of states that I want to go back to. So I just love the United States, and I can't wait to get back out there. I bought a U.S. park pass. I'm going to hopefully go to every single U.S. park. Bang, bang. Hopefully I'm going to be able to go to all the parks. It really depends on what's open. But the coolest thing about this whole trip, guys, is that it's open-ended. There's no time schedule. There's no restraints. The only thing that it's limited by is, honestly, is just gas money. That's it. That's why I have the Ko-Fi for if you guys want to donate to the channel. That's why I have that. Because that is the only thing that's going to limit it. I don't have a lot of bills. I have a cell phone bill, and I have an insurance bill. That's it. That's all I got. So I'm trying my very best to stay out on the road for as long as possible. I want to experience an awesome year. I want to have such a blast. I want to live my life the way that I want to live it. And I don't want to work anymore. Am I lazy? Maybe. Yeah, I guess. But I have a drive and I have a work ethic that is just different than other people. That's kind of the way that I like to look at it. I'm not happy just working a 9-to-5 and doing the regular stuff that everyone does. Everyone does think that I'm insane, probably for good reason. I mean, you know. So yeah, I'm a little different. I'm a little out there, but gosh darn it, don't I have fun with it? So come check out this crazy thing that I just built. It's pretty cool, I guess. Hopefully it's not, hopefully this won't be my coffin. That's entirely possible. But we're going to be as safe as we can, okay? Hopefully this is, yeah, we don't want to be in a rolling coffin. We're going to try and keep this as safe as possible. I want to live to see another day, and I want to see some awesome things out there. I can't yet say if this is a good camper or a good trailer. It's one of those things that it really takes time to work out the kinks, to find out where the leaks are or the quirks, what works, what doesn't. Is there enough shoulder room? All these type of things. Do I bang my head when I get in and out? Is there a vibration when I roll over in the night? There's lots of things that do take time to sort of work themselves out. And that's why I'm calling this the Merch Rover 1, because I'm positive that at some point in time I'm gonna want to do a 2 or a 3. It's just kind of the way things go, you know? You find the flaws, you fix them, you make it better, you make it more polished. It's just like a lot of things in life. And this is the prototype. It's probably gonna suck, but we're gonna try it out. And worst case scenario is I just unhitch this baby, take my plates off, and just kick her to the wind. Put a free sticker on the side of the road and go about my business. At least I tried. But come on. Let's take a look at the inside, guys. So this is a quick little zoomed out shot. I'm going to zoom in here in a second. But this side is pretty much identical to the other side. It is going to have the fender here. I just didn't really want to make another short video with music in the background. It's kind of pointless at this point. You guys already really much saw the meat and potatoes. The rest of it is this stuff going in. This is the awesome stuff that I really enjoy, and this is what I've been looking forward to. I have been so excited to really delve into the components. It's the best part. It's so fun. Building is fun, but having it having all this cool stuff while you're out in the middle of nowhere, take my word for it, when I was in a van and I was in the middle of nowhere and I had this stuff, I felt at home no matter where I was. So it really is a make or break for me. Motorcycle camping is fun, don't get me wrong. Camping in a tent and all that stuff, it's pretty old school, but I really would like to go more of a new school take on the camping. I've been in some hailstorms, I've been in some really, really heavy storms, and I don't want to be in a tent in any of those storms, and it's going to happen. It's just part of camping. You get caught in storms. So I would like to be at least inside something like this, where I can get out of the hail, where I can, I can get out of the wind, where I can put some serious guy wires down, and I know I'm not going to blow away, that type of stuff. So it was kind of a last minute decision. I did say that this camper, or that this trailer was not going to be a camper. I said that in the first video, and that really started to change when I started to look at the dimensions and see, it's only another foot, really. Another foot, and you could sleep in it, and as long as I can keep the weight down as much as possible, it's totally doable. Keeping the weight down though, that is a number one priority. That's something that has never left my mind, and I'm constantly thinking about it. I'm still thinking about it, because a lot of these components, we can shed weight on them still. Let's take a look at what's going on in here real quick. I'm gonna zoom in. So the number one thing that I've been focusing on as far as this build goes is number one, safety. I want this thing to be as safe as possible. I don't want to hurt anybody else on the road. I know a lot of people, they worry about themselves a lot, but I worry about other people on the road. I don't want to hurt anybody on the road. I could never live with that. So I want this to be as safe as possible. And then obviously, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to ruin my motorcycle. I love my motorcycle, and I want to have a good time. I want to have the best time that I can possibly have. I want to enjoy this trip, and I want to experience all the awesome things that are out there that are just waiting. So this is the key, is to having a safe and economically driven, low weight, low budget sort of build. And that's what this is. This hasn't cost me a whole lot. And that's because I've been really focusing on lightweight materials that are free and that are already around. You gotta scrounge a little bit. It's tough. And also I had a lot of these components already kicking around, except for this. I bought this one today. So first on the list, guys, is this propane tank. I went out and got this. This is a 5-pound tank. It's steel. Let's take a little weight on this, see what it is. I'm curious. Yeah, that's not bad. 15.75 with the extra nozzle on it with a splitter. Obviously, there'll be a little bit less weight because of that cardboard's going to be gone and plastic covering. But that's not bad at all compared to the 20-pound tanks. 20-pound tanks are 37 pounds. That's a lot more. 37 pounds, every single pound that you can save is going to give you, better gas mileage, but more cargo for clothes and stuff. I'm not bringing a lot of clothes. I'm more concerned about my microphone, my tripod, stuff for filming. I don't have a lot of stuff, but like a camping chair, some things that I would really like to have. A tarp for an eave. I'm making an eave that comes out. All these things add up to pounds, and freeing up an extra, 20 pounds or so is really pretty big. Now, of course, if you move things around in the camper, you can adjust the tongue weight, but the overall weight, that doesn't change. So that's something that I've been trying to, to bring down as much as I can, is the overall weight. So I'm just really asking myself, do I need this? Do I need this? Do I need a 20-pound tank? No. I've had a 20-pound tank that I've been cooking with and using this hot water heater since last March, and it's still full. Yeah, they last a long time with very efficient things. So I figured that the 5-pound would be at least, maybe I can go 3 months, 4 months with it and get a refill for another $15. That's super cool. I got this at a marine store. Not the bang bang kind, but the sailing kind. And these things are pretty affordable. I was looking online and they are quite a bit more expensive. So if you can, go to a sailboat store or a marine store. Some things are not as expensive. I know a lot of things are more expensive at boat stores, but some things, like these tanks, generally pretty much the same. The RV store that I was looking at wanted to charge me $120 for this tank. So think twice before you go to an RV store and check your prices before you buy something, because they might be trying to pull the wool over your eyes. That is a huge, huge upgrade as far as I'm concerned. This is the big thing for me. This is one thing that I had to have. This is, let's weigh this. How much does this weigh? 9.72 pounds. By getting a smaller tank, we have just freed up this. This is now available because we got a smaller tank. That's freaking awesome. So you got to think about that. By having all that extra propane that you really, maybe you don't need, you can have access to other accessories that will make your life better. I really like taking hot showers in the middle of nowhere. I like using hot water to wash dishes and wash clothes. And it's just, it really perks your day up. If you're cold and you're wet and you take a hot shower, even if it's in a rainstorm, it feels great. It feels absolutely amazing. I love it. So this is an EcoTemp. This particular model I've had for quite a while. These things are durable and they're dependable. The only thing that they need is propane, D batteries, 2. I use rechargeable ones that I recharge with the solar, and a water pump. Let me show you the pump that I use to provide water pressure, because they need water pressure. So this is a 12-volt water pump. This runs off the solar power. And during the daytime, you could use this pretty much constantly and not even touch your batteries. These things are really not that bad. They don't draw too much. I don't want to go into specifications just yet as far as electronics, because like I said, I'm going to be doing an in-depth video when all this stuff is installed, but this is required to get this to function. This needs to have a certain amount of PSI. This provides that PSI so that it will turn on. It will notice that there is water flowing and it will automatically turn on. That's the awesome thing about these water heaters, is that they're on demand. So if you flip the switch of the shower, kicks on, lights itself, hot water is on the way. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is find a water source for this. So this, you can put a hose attachment on, and you can run it into a pond, you can run it into a stream, you can hook it up at a campground, you could also just run it from a bucket. So it's up to you. It just needs a water source. And if you're in an area where you're going to be experiencing some freezing temperatures, all you have to do is take the hose out of the water and run air through it briefly until there's no more water and it won't freeze. So it's a nice little thing to have. This does weigh a little bit, so placement is kind of key with that. That's why I've been trying to, keep it light. This is a water accumulator. This is something that runs after the pump. So in between the heater and the pump, you're going to have a water accumulator. And what this does is it just basically allows this reservoir to be pressurized, and when you're taking a shower or you're using the water, it doesn't sputter. It doesn't weigh anything except for the amount of water that's in it, and you can just drain it when you're done. It's very easy to do. You just have a nozzle here, drain it, so that way it doesn't freeze too. Super handy. These things are awesome. I was having so much problems with my water system until I got one of these, and after that it's been a breeze. So this also has to be the correct PSI for the application, and they all have this stuff written on them. This is all going to be up forward here. So this is an area that I am willing to make some changes to. This is a cooktop that I already have. I am seriously considering cutting this in half. I think that I could probably do without this side. It's pretty heavy, to be honest. I know it would be cool to have, a 2 burner, but it's really unnecessary. These things are steel. That's a lot of weight. I think I can probably put something in here. And this one, I think I can probably replace it with something. Let me know what you guys think, because I was looking at some cooktops at the marine store today that were extremely lightweight. That's something that I think that I might swap out. This is just kind of, you know, it's pretty heavy. You know, it's got this base underneath it. It's room for improvement, but it is something that I have on hand. Let me know what you guys use for cooktop. I really don't want to go buy a jet boil or anything like that. You know, those canisters cost almost as much as that propane tank, and you can't refill them. So I would like to use something that is reusable. I don't want to be throwing away canisters. That just seems very wasteful and inefficient monetarily. So I would like to have a nice cooktop, maybe a Coleman one. Let me know what you guys think. Something lightweight, but room for improvement here, but this is what I got at the moment. That's really it for up front. Another thing that I have no wiggle room for, zero. This is a must. I do not go on road trips without a CB radio. I have been stranded before in Colorado, way out there. I really didn't know where I was. I got caught in a flash storm. The road turned to like red clay mud and I couldn't get any traction. I was in a giant ProMaster van and I needed help. I was off the road, a cow walked in front and I went into the ditch. And if I didn't have this CB radio, I would have been SOL. I would have been screwed. So I take this one, I allot for this no matter what. I have an antenna that I put on here. Communications is really, really important. If you're just relying on cell phone service, it doesn't last forever, and CB is very reliable, and you can call ahead. You know, if you have an emergency, you can switch over to the emergency channel, and people will hear you, as long as you're not way down in a valley somewhere like that. But even then, there's a chance somebody might hear you with a decent antenna and an amplifier, which I do have. So this is something that comes with me. I absolutely love hearing people talk on the CB radio too. It's kind of something that's nice if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you just want to kind of talk to somebody, you can. So I like this. So let's take a peek at some of the stuff that's down the tunnel. Okay guys, we're up close and personal. How you doing? Lighting. I like to have these particular lights are awesome. They use no watts at all. They're really efficient. These are called Dream Lighting. These things are great. You can buy them by the case. They run on 12 volts. These things use 2.6 watts. That's absolutely nothing. It's great. You can recess them. You can just tape them. You can glue them. You can put them wherever you want. They're very easy to install. I love them. And they never really go bad. I've never had one go bad. They last forever. They're a good buy. I'm sure there's lots of other companies that do similar things, but these ones are nice. I like to paint these different colors if you're feeling like a different vibe. And you can just turn on different colors for whatever you like. It's pretty fun. And this is an autopilot. This is something that I've had for a long time. This is just like a room monitor that you can use to monitor your CO2, your temperature, and your relative humidity. I like to have it because it tracks everything over the course of time, and it lets you know if you have something set to a certain parameter. It lets you know when you're out of it. Just by, you can look and see what's going on. So if, for instance, I'm in here and the ventilation is closed and the CO2 levels are getting high or something like that, I can keep an eye on that. That's something that you do need to consider when you're in kind of like an enclosed space. It lets me know if my humidity is getting too high in here. That's something that can happen very quickly in a small space like this. And the temperature, if I am burning up or if it's getting sort of close to freezing and I need to start thinking about draining my lines, my water line. This keeps track of everything. So if I fell asleep and I was up in the mountains at high altitude and I wasn't paying attention and I woke up and I wanted to know, hey, how cold did it get last night? What was the humidity? What was my CO2? And I'm trying to dial in this particular thing. This is going to tell me, and it runs on USB. I can run this off of my solar setup. The way that I'm going to run that, along with most of my things, is off an inverter. So this is a EverStart 750 watt inverter. I don't particularly care for the brand or whatever. It's just one that I had. This is one of the smaller ones. You could probably even go smaller. There's probably room for improvement as far as weight savings on this as well. But this is what I have, and it does work excellent. It lets me know my battery voltage right here, how much I'm consuming, and how long before my battery is starting to get into a red zone. That's kind of nice. Not all of them have it. I do have a battery monitor as well, but this is a good 2-pronger, and we have 2 USBs. You can turn it on and off. The switch right here. So this one stays right inside the cabin. It's very easy to use, and you've got some fuses here. So if you blow a fuse, all you do, swap these out. These things tend to make a little bit of noise though, so that's something to keep in mind. When they get hot, this fan makes some noise, but compared to some of the other ones, this one's relatively quiet. So that's something to keep in mind. If you were putting this near your head, I wouldn't recommend it. This light might keep you up as well if it's on. This is a fuse panel. This is something that you have to have if you're running any kind of electronics. If you have a short or something like that, it could cause a fire, and it could be a safety concern if you don't have a fuse in here. And what it'll do is it will blow the fuse before you burn yourself up, or cause damage to all of your wires, and you'll have to do some serious electrical work. So knowing the correct fuses and putting them where they need to be, that's something that you really want to have. I love Blue Sea systems. They're awesome. They're for boats, but a lot of boat stuff works really well because a lot of it's sort of moisture resistant as well. Room for improvement number 2, guys. I have sort of a dilemma here that I have been waffling on. So this is a brand new charge controller that I just got. It's an MPPT. It's a very nice charge controller. I'm not going to go into details too much because not a lot of people are familiar with solar at this point in time, but this is a decent one. It's brand new. It's programmable. It lets you know all the stats of everything that you're doing, and you can change it up if you want. You could run any kind of voltage that you want. If I wanted to change panels or whatever, this could go with me anywhere, and I could hook any kind of solar panels into it if I moved somewhere else after this and I wanted to keep this, I could do that. But it's heavier. And this is the Wanderer. This is extremely lightweight. This is what came with these Renogy solar panels that we've got up here. They're 100-watt solar panels. This was a kit. This is awesome for this particular application. But I've had this charge controller for 4 years, and I don't know how much longer it has. I'm not saying that it's a bad one, but I wonder if it ever failed, I would be in a bad situation if it did fail. So I am considering just taking this one and maybe placing it somewhere a little bit further back to compensate for the weight. The thing I don't like about this particular one is it doesn't tell you what watts you're producing, how much voltage you're producing or anything. All it does is it blinks. It just blinks if you're producing voltage or if your battery's hooked up, and it lets you know what kind of battery that you have, which you definitely should already know. So it's not bad. It's a plug and play. It's pretty basic. Maybe I'll just bring both. This thing weighs nothing. I could just toss it in there as a backup. Wiring. This is just for demonstration purposes, really. This is off of the solar system that I just disassembled. This is really, really heavy duty stuff. We don't need this, but I just wanted to show you. Wiring, it's something that you don't think about, but you need some pretty decent stuff. It weighs a lot. It weighs a lot, especially if you're running high voltage, 24 volts, 48 volts, stuff like that. You're gonna want some serious stuff. Depending on how far away your batteries are from your inverters and all that stuff, plays a role in how big your cables need to be. There is a formula for it. I'm not going to be using any of this stuff. This is all way too heavy. I'm gonna be going more towards this type of stuff. It's gonna be perfect for my application. Save a lot of weight, and this is all relatively new. This is a shunt right here that I'm going to be installing. And what the shunt does is it hooks up to this. And there's a little diagram on the back. And it lets you know how much power that you're using at any given time with any appliance that you have plugged in. The inverters aren't bad, but this will track how much you're using all the time, which is really nice. Meaning it'll track how much you use day to day. It really doesn't use a whole lot of power. You can turn the light on and off. It's an excellent monitoring system. You can see it from across the way. You can just take a peek at it, and you can tell if you left something on or if something's plugged in or if you have a short and it's running a ton of power to somewhere that you're not aware of, this is kind of a cool little thing. These are like $12. I absolutely love these things. This is going in for sure. What else do we got, guys? Well, I got a license plate. Apparently they say you need to have one of these. I got this thing registered today. I'm really excited about it. They didn't ask too many questions, but I told them that I made the trailer and they kind of looked at me funny, but you can make and register your own trailer, guys. It is legal. They give you a hard time. I had to pay taxes on the steel that I bought, but that was it. I legitimately had to screenshot my bank account statements for the steel that I bought. They almost didn't believe me. So this is a trailer light kit. It's a little bit overkill, but I would really like to be seen and not rear-ended at any given point in time. Love to be seen. I have been keeping a very, very close eye on the tongue weight of this trailer, and we are currently sitting extremely pretty. Everything is going really, really well. I'm very, very excited for this build. I know there's been, you know, a lot of speculation as far as the overall, the weight and everything like that, but I really am trying my very best to keep this as safe as possible. And if I need to, like if the weight is too much, we're gonna take more stuff out of here. I'm not running this thing above, you know, 300 pounds. I think that's unsafe. So that's the goal. We're gonna keep it as light as possible. If I need to, you know, we'll take one solar panel. If that's the case, if it's too heavy, still, we can take a battery out of the back. Those batteries that I have back there, 2 6-volt batteries. They're deep cycle golf cart batteries, and you run them together to make one 12-volt battery. And what that does is it gives you an extremely long time that you can run all this stuff. I could run it for probably, you know, 2 or 3 days with no sun, no problem, and would never have to worry about running out of juice. But it's 2 batteries and they weigh 72 pounds apiece. So there's that. I am considering possibly getting maybe one lithium ion battery and using those compartments back there for storage. That would be something that would be really cool. If we could take a lot of the heavier stuff and sort of slim it down. I'm really trying to focus on safety and weight. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in and for watching. I know maybe this isn't the update that you guys were expecting, but this is where I'm at right now. I'm going to be outfitting all this stuff, and it's going to take me a while. It's going to take me a while to get all this in here, and I'm going to be doing my very, very best to have this on the road soon. Breaker, breaker, but it is 8 degrees outside, and I got to fix the motorcycle, so it's going to take a little while. But the motorcycle's almost done, guys. We're almost there. Hopefully I'll be able to get this thing down to a weigh station next week. I'll take it with the truck and see where we're at. I'm really excited to see where we're at because I got my fingers crossed, guys. If we can get this into a decent range, that just gives me all that much more room for other things. Not components, you know, for personal effects, for food, for water, for those type of things. There's other things that need to go in here other than these luxury stuff. And that is something to consider as well. I almost forgot one of the most important things. I was just walking out the door and I was writing the video in my editing software and I had to cancel everything just to say this last little snippet. And that is, of course, ventilation. I didn't even mention the ventilation. There should be an intake and an exhaust. It's really important, and I'm going to be able to flip it on and off with a switch. Without ventilation, it's going to get so stuffy, it's miserable. Also, heating. I always have some form of heat, and with this particular build, I'm not going to be doing any kind of like a wood stove or anything. In the past, I used to have a wood stove, like a little stainless steel one that's in like a sailboat. But I think for this particular build, I'm just going to use the candle heaters. I think if I insulate this enough, that should be more than enough to keep me toasty warm. If not, I can always incorporate a propane heater very, very easily. You know, I try and put as much information as I can in there, and I hate it when I leave a piece out and then I have to like pin it in the comment below. That's no fun. So yeah, I'll see you guys real soon. So keep your eyes peeled. Hopefully by the end of the week, I'll have an update. Peace.